Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the best teams for the Psychic Cup. The Psychic Cup, weirdly enough, only going to allow you to use Psychic type Pokemon. What a surprise! I'm fairly certain Mew is banned, but anyway, we're going to take a look at the meta in a bit as well. And so, again, if you enjoy this type of videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and we are going to take a look now at the meta. Taking a look now at the meta, we're going to see that Rapidash is going to be the best Pokemon, which as handy as this Pokemon Leary just had a community day. We're going to have Victini at the second rank there, going to be very interesting, especially in the lead in the Sailor position. Slowbro got access to Brutal Swing, and Claydol got buffed Mudslap. Malamar got access to the buffed Psywave, and so a lot of interesting new Pokemon going to be in there. We're going to have all teams around them as well. Still, very solid Pokemon from last time. It's going to be Broguiere, the Gardevoir, and also the Bronzong here, but we also see like three more new additions with the move Astonish. Hooper, Behem, and LGM are all going to be very solid with the fast move Astonish. Even Chimecho is all of a sudden at rank 13 for whatever reason. And then we also have some other interesting Pokemon like Meowstic having a Sucker Punch, being a bit higher up, or even Lunatone at rank 18 with Psywave. And even here, Metang, access to Metal Claw, going to be also a little bit of a buff for this Pokemon. So there are actually quite a lot of interesting things there. But as you can see as well on the right side, you see the score. So the score kind of showcases how strong a Pokemon is. And it kind of goes down quite fast here after, especially like the, rank 10 or something after this one. It's definitely not as meta heavy as before. So definitely an interesting meta here for sure. A lot of Pokemon have some side potential, like even Latios here is one of the only Dragon type Pokemon. But yeah, let's take a look at the top teams. Team number one going to be Broguiere. Broguiere is going to have access to the fast move of Bite. Bite going to be very strong in this cup, of course, as it's going to be super effective or neutral against everything. So yeah, it's going to be a great one. Against our backline though, it's only going to be neutral because you have a double fairy backline here with Rapidash as well as the Gardevoir. You can run Mega Horn on the Rapidash, but you can also run High Horsepower, which I have actually recommended in one team later on as well. Anything else, you can decide what you want to do. I would not think that a Wall Charge is going to be preferred on this Pokemon. I could be wrong, might be wrong, but who knows. But yeah, definitely there are mainly matchups where Mega Horn or also the High Horsepower are going to be great. As you can see here, this team is going to be very good. Basically, Broguiere can win against anything that, like for example here against the Slowbro Galarian form, you're going to win in a 2-shield scenario for sure with Broguiere just because Bite is doing so much damage. And so I would not be too worried about any of them, but also the meta is hilariously small. Like I've never seen like such a small meta, like that's like 12 Pokemon or something that meta. So it's quite easy to build some teams around, and this is definitely a very solid team to use for the upcoming meta. Team number two. Again, like you're going to see quite a lot of the same Pokemon here. We're going to have the Rapidash in the lead, we're going to have Victini as a Sailor, and we have Claydol in the back. Basically, we're going to have two Pokemon weak to water in the back, trying to maybe bait out a potential water type Pokemon. There's like Slowbro with a Water Gun, which has some anti-meta potential. We're going to have Rapidash in the lead, which is just going to be a neutral Pokemon, and yeah, Victini Sailor is going to be very good in the current meta. Also, Rapidash is going to be great against the Malamar. Victini is still going to be able to play against the Malamar, and then Claydol in the back, which actually got a big buff with a Mudslap. It's going to be a good Pokemon as a closer here. I think it's going to be a very solid team. But again, like most teams are going to be quite similar. Next team, we're going to have for Broguiere in the lead again, we're going to have Victini as a Sailor again, and we're going to have Metagross in the back. This team is actually something I used the last time around this cup was available, and I went, I think, 11-2 with this team. Like, this was definitely a very solid one. Why? Because you can kind of counter all those Fairy and Psychic type Pokemon with this team, which worked out super well because basically everybody was running Rapidash Sailor, which means you can go into Metagross, you can fully farm them down. I think you didn't even have to use a shield or something like this. Maybe now you have to use one, I don't know. But you can fully farm them down and you end up with a ton of energy, which basically guarantees your shields or like KOs for later matchups. And this was kind of very overpowered for like the meta that was in the last time around. I still think it's going to be a very solid team. Malamar can be a little bit trickier for this team, but still I feel like in the 2-shield scenario this Pokemon is still something that you should be able to beat with team number 3. Moving on to team number 4, we're going to have Victini in the lead here, which is going to be great in general with the move of V-Crate, allowing you to just do a ton of damage and then just swap out. Malamar Sailor, I feel like there's next to no hard answer other than, of course, Gardevoir, which you have as a potential option in the back there as well as a Sailor here as well. And we're going to have Gardevoir then in the back or the Broguiere. again, like, it's going to be very similar to what we saw already before. It's no rocket science for this kind of meta. There are quite a lot of Pokemon that work quite well together, and then you can use them in the lead, then you can use them in the Say Swap, whatever. But yeah, this is going to be a very solid team again, but it's the Psychic type cup, and so you're gonna have a ton of Psychic type Pokemon. The next team is actually a bit more unique, at least. We're going to have the Gardevoir in the lead. Shadow Gardevoir going to be the prime charm user for this meta for sure. We're going to have Victini, Say Swap, and Claydol in the back. This is going to be very interesting because he kinda can counter the answers for Gardevoir with Victini and Claydol. Victini and Claydol are going to be able to kinda beat those poison slash steel type Pokemon, which are kinda a bit tricky, especially Bronzong. As you guys see here, Bronzong's hardest answer is Claydol. Bronzong loses to Victini, and that's kind of why you kind of want to use it, and still think it's going to be a very solid one here for sure. Kind of gets call broken a bit by Hoopa, I feel like. Hoopa is definitely an interesting Pokemon where you're going to have some teams coming up as well still. But on to the next one. We're going to have a team here of Malamar, Bronzong, as well as Victini. Victini, Say Swap, Bronzong in the back. Malamar being weak mainly to a Fairy type Pokemon for this meta. We're going to have two answers for Fairy type Pokemon in the back with Victini and Bronzong. Bronzong with Feint Attack. Going to be an interesting Pokemon there. Feint Attack, Fast Move, going to allow you to hit all those Psychic type Pokemon for super effective or neutral damage, which is going to be quite lovely. And again, it's going to be one of the main answers to those Fairy type Pokemon, especially the Gardevoir. A bit the Rapidash. Rapidash can be a bit tricky, of course, because of the potential of high horsepower, which also I still feel like that Bronzong is going to have a lot of potential in this meta. I don't think it's going to be as common as last time around because of Claydol being buffed, but still a very solid Pokemon for sure. Next team, team number 7, we're going to have Claydol in the lead. Say Swap of the Rapidash and Gardevoir in the back, or the Bruxish, both of them are going to be fine. Very similar, I think, to team number 1 here as well. But Claydol in the lead is going to be a bit different compared to, I think it was Bruxish actually in the lead for the team number 1. But yeah, this Pokemon here, Claydol, is going to be very cool against every Steel type, every Fire type. I would imagine it's going to be quite a lot of Victini leads as well, and those are going to definitely strike quite a bit against Claydol. And Claydol just has great coverage with Scorching Sands, allowing you to beat, of course, Steel type Pokemon or Poison type Pokemon that can help out your Fairy type Pokemon in the back, but also Shadow Ball, which is going to be either super effective or neutral against any kind of Pokemon of this meta, which is kind of cool. Other than Girafarig and Oranguru, those two are going to resist this move, but anything else kind of dies to one Shadow Ball. So I would imagine Claydol is going to have quite a lot of impact to this meta. Here next team, we're going to go now to a bit more of the less top tier meta, but more of a bit of a spice or whatever. We're going to have Slowbro. Slowbro got access to Brutal Swing this season, it's going to make this Pokemon a bit better. I could actually see a world, I guess never mind, I could see a world where Surf would be available, or like good for this Pokemon, that's what I want to say, but actually I'm wrong because Brutal Swing is basically all you really need for this meta. I don't even think you need Sludge Bomb really. I guess Sludge Bomb is going to be nice against like those Fairy type Pokemon if you're gonna go up against a 100% HP Galarian Rapidash, and then you can just one-shot it with it. But anything else, you just need the Brutal Swing, which is going to be a cheap move to get to, which is really good for it. We have Malamar in the lead, which is going to be weak against Fairy type Pokemon, where we have the Slowbro for, and Behem or also the Hoopa in the back. And Hoopa is going to be preferred, Behem is going to be also kind of decent, having access to Rock Slide and Dark Pulse is going to be great. But also, of course, the buffed Astonish is going to be very strong in this meta, and it's like one of the few Pokemon that can learn this move. And so, definitely interesting one. The pre-evolution is, by the way, also very good if you want to build this Pokemon as well. But yeah, this is going to be for sure a very solid Pokemon, and you can move on to the next one. Next one, a bit more unique as well, it's going to be the team number 9 with Shadow Latios. Shadow Latios, kind of Shadow bonus is kind of needed here, I have to say. Going to be very neutral, and you look at this graph and be like, oh, why would you ever want to run this? It is way better than the 2-shield scenario. This is always showing the 0/1-shield scenario, the average of both of them, and it's not a 0-shield Pokemon, and that's why we have it in the lead, because in the lead, you're always going to have 2 shields available for you. And in the back, we're going to have Slowbro as well as the Bronzong. Both Pokemon are going to be able to counter the Fairy type weakness that this Pokemon has. And so Slowbro, your Say Swap, going to have access to very fast Brutal Swings, and Bronzong is going to be very fine in the back there as well to just honestly beat those Fairy type Pokemon. That's all it kind of needs to do here. And so I feel like this team is going to be a very interesting one, very similar to something that we had last season as well. Still, of course, like the Psychic Cup didn't really change too much, but I still think it's going to be a very interesting Pokemon nonetheless. Next one, our final team here, we're going to have Hoopa in the lead. Honestly, I'm very sad that I don't have this Pokemon anymore. I built basically my first Hooper as a Hooper Unbound and then like powered up, and only the one that you first got from the quest encounter was eligible now for the Great League. This Pokemon is not available anymore. If you didn't get the quest back in the day, you have no chance of getting this Pokemon, and so it is quite decent. It's literally one of the best Pokemon to run here because it's Stab Astonish, and Stab Astonish is deadly for this meta, and Hooper has one big issue. And that is Bruxish. Bruxish is doing double super effective fast move damage with Bite, which is very cool. Same kind goes for Bronzong, I guess. But anything else, Hooper is just going to be so deadly against. And honestly, this team looks amazing. I cannot run it, but definitely run it if you can. And so this is going to be it for this video. Tomorrow there's going to be a video for the Master League as well again. Completely forgot that actually League Change is going to be tomorrow, so sorry about that. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And also check out the videos on the screen. That's going to be one also from my girlfriend's channel, and definitely check it out as well. It's with me, and it's 40 minutes of a Galarian Rapidash action in the Ultra League. So check the video out, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.